Hi everyone, I'm Corion, your witch in residence here on YouTube. And today I want to deviate a little bit from the what we can learn format and talk about wizard duels. This is a video I promised to make and I intend to see it through. Before we go into the video though, I would just like to thank all my subscribers for choosing to subscribe. I would ask that they make sure that they are still subscribed to the channel, as I am starting to hear that people are getting unsubscribed, and I'd rather that didn't happen. Additionally, if you guys feel that I've done a good job today, please leave a like on the video and comment and share if you can, as it really helps the channel grow. With that obligatory ritual out of the way, let's dive into the topic. So, we have two videos I want to speak to specifically today. We have Doctor Strange 2, and we have Lord of the Rings. We're going to go with the Fellowship of the Ring, in which the Gandalf the Grey fights Sauron the White. So let's start out with the Marvel version here, the Doctor Strange. In the second Doctor Strange movie, we see Doctor Strange fighting wizards, witches, um, ridiculously huge tentacle monsters, just about everything you could possibly want. And anytime he activates his magic, there's huge spinning CGI particle effects of Mandelas and light and picking up sheets of paper and using musical notes to fight with, all kinds of wackiness. Now, this looks cool, but it's nowhere near reality. The closest thing that I've ever seen to a proper wizard duel was in Lord of the Rings. This is exactly how things go down. First, you have to understand that wizards, magic users in general, respect other magic users a great deal. And they know that the best solution to any problem is to get in the first hit, alter the battlefield in such a way that you're the one completely in control of it, and arrange things in such a fashion that the opponent doesn't really get a chance to do much to you other than lose. Preparation has always been key in any sort of conflict, but this is taken to a whole new level when very, very smart magic users go at it. So, in that fight in Lord of the Rings, we see Gandalf and Saruman fighting inside Saruman's tower. It's very clear that Saruman knows the terrain well. He uses his thoughts to slam the doors shut. He uses his staff to knock Gandalf about, and eventually disarms Gandalf, grabs his staff so he's two wielding the staves, and just goes to town on Gandalf. This is perfect. We're not seeing a whole bunch of particle effects. We're seeing clearly forces flying back and forth, but they're not totally visible in any way, shape, or form. This is about standard. Saruman was ready for this. He expected Gandalf to show up, and when he did, he knew he was going to either have him join or lay an epic smackdown on him, and that's exactly what he did. His goal, of course, was to corrupt and eventually turn Gandalf the Grey over to his master, which is a pretty frightening concept, but honestly, it's incredibly well choreographed. The hits feel like there's energy flying back and forth, but you don't actually see it. This is way closer to what a wizard duel would actually look like. Um, from my own experiences, um, when magic users fight each other, we get dirty, we get nasty. Um, we're practically doing everything but hair pulling. And a lot of it happens days ahead of time. Prep work involving learning about the person, finding out their personal foibles, whether they have any sort of weaknesses or deficiencies that can be exploited. All of these things are done. During the actual fight, there's usually a lot of psychological talking back and forth, um, trying to work the other one to breaking their concentration. Um, we see a lot of that in the Lord of the Rings fight. And we see a lot of throwing around a lot of crazy particle effects and energy in the Marvel one, which, look, if you're burning energy to make things glow, you're not using it to fight. The best actual style of combat, I want to say, that I've ever seen out of a Marvel movie actually happens in the first Doctor Strange movie when Caecilius's men are pulling um, invisible blades out of seemingly nowhere. That is way more like what you would expect to see, uh, along with physical weapons that have been imbued with energy. So, all in all, the Marvel ones look pretty, but let's be honest, they're not really that good. Um, and the Lord of the Rings ones are absolutely fantastic for this. They fight hard, they throw back and forth, and the magic you see from Gandalf is always implied to be there, but it doesn't appear so supernatural. Because the truth is, forces like magic are incredibly natural. They're part of nature. They're just, instead of supernatural, um, as in out there, it's super nature. It's the application of nature in a fantastic way. So, um, what can a civilian do if they're stuck in a magic fight? Punch the magic user. Um, Honestly, that's probably the best way to go. It's getting close. Ignore what he says. Hit him hard. Um, and hopefully you get through before he gets up too much of a defense. Um, in the second Lord of the Rings movie, The Two Towers, Aragorn comments that they need to take out the wizard before he gets a chance to expel them, which is probably about accurate. If you can take a magic user out before he gets a chance to do much, look, at the end of the day, any magic user is human. They have the same human frailties. Uh, the key is you got to catch them unaware, because you'll find that um, a magic user in a fight is incredibly lucky, shockingly lucky at that. So, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're sure you can get that first shot off just about perfect and it'll end there. Um, Wizard duels also have an amusing tendency, shall we say, to spill out into the environment a great deal. People use terrain to their advantage, they use location to their advantage. So um, we don't quite see that in The Lord of the Rings. We also don't see the fact that any wizard duel I've ever seen where people survive, usually, 5, 10 years later, it comes back to haunt them. Because let's be honest, magic users hold grudges a lot usually. So my whole piece with this is, in any sort of magical user fight, you're not going to see a lot, but you're definitely going to feel a lot. The hairs on the back of your head are going to probably stand on end a great deal. You're going to see the effects of things hitting other people, but you're probably not going to see anything flying between the two. And most combatants I've ever met when they're fighting will talk to the other person and psychologically throw them off. But you're not going to be hearing like giant words or crazy hand signs or what have you, because we don't want to give away what we're doing to the other person. So it's all tried to be done on a mental level as much as possible. This is the closest you're going to get to a tactical chess game that involves a lot of screwing with the other person just to see if you can throw them off their game and then exploiting it. You know what? I will give you guys a really good example. So, years ago, I had a pretty significant disagreement with another Magic user, and we had a verbal fencing match that I managed to score a few points on, and she more or less got so upset that it devolved into a fight with more than words, shall we say. And the entire time, my job was to throw her off her game by just talking her, twisting the knife on what I had already said, throwing her off to such a point where she couldn't focus well on what she was doing. And then it just came down to hammering that home so she couldn't do anything and making sure that her teacher saw what I was doing and that she lacked the control, because as soon as they saw that she was unable to control herself, the fight was effectively over for her. This is how an actual fight goes down. We don't attack directly, we indirectly attack. We ensure that whoever is observing the fight is not going to see anything we don't want them to see, and our opponent isn't going to hear anything we don't want them to hear. That's the whole idea. It is a expertly crafted game. Now, to see some really, really good wizard duels, arguably I would say some of the most accurate. Please check out the book series The Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. When wizards fight in his books, he does it spectacularly. Yes, there's heat or lightning or whatever flying back and forth between magic users, but it's always done in a way that if the attack hit and did damage, great, but if it didn't, it causes some other ripple effect to mess up the person in a way they wouldn't expect. This is probably one of the best tactical moves that you're ever going to see. Um, it's how, yeah, it's how magic users do it. So, with that, let me know what you guys think of this video. I'm going to close it off here. I want to thank everyone who showed up for the Rogue Council. I appreciate you guys, and it's just a shame that the council transmissions have to stop existing. But if we can get to the point where we have 1,000 subscribers, we will be eligible for memberships, and I can put them up as a membership reward. So, guys, let's try to continue that march to 1,000, and we will go from there. All right, with that, the video is over. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.